for
Luke,
us.
before you go to this last one, I think
Yeah.
it's really important for people to know that it's not like you're saying that the value of Apple or Google or any of these companies is zero. You're just saying
Yeah.
that in a world that has been conditioned to think that dollars and euros and yen are valuable, and that they're this valuation in today's terms, when you move to this exponential event where things are going to be valued in this monetary energy, the valuation is way different to what you think the value of, call it, one Bitcoin is today, and it's so drastic that it makes it look like it's trending to zero, but it'll never get there for a lot of equities that continue to produce tangible value to society and have products and services that people actually want to use, right? Like, that's not going away. It's just it's a little hard for people to wrap their head around if they haven't put a lot of deep thought into what some of that actually means. But go back to your slide there. I want you to show that last one for people to see.
Yeah. This is, for those that don't know, Hal Finney was one of the first Bitcoin. Well, he was literally the first besides Satoshi. And back in 2009, 2 years before Bitcoin hit $1. Okay, so this is not just before Bitcoin's $1. It's 2 years before it's $1. Hal Finney basically had this thought experiment, and he basically predicted exactly what this chart here shows you. Total global wealth in terms of Bitcoin declining exponentially towards zero forever in relative terms to Bitcoin. That's basically what Hal Finney predicted. He said, if this happens, Bitcoin will get to $10 million, blah, 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 to it's more like 40 million adjusted for inflation, and it'll probably be 400 million in a decade or so. And that price adjustment just continues up forever. But the more important point, as you said here, is that relative wealth in terms of Bitcoin just declines forever. And so basically what we're looking at here is a likely future where, as technology makes everything more abundant, as we have an infinite amount of debt, an infinite amount of prosperity, and everything just trends towards infinity, the only finite system in, humankind, its value will trend towards infinity. And, often people say, well, what if you could just make another Bitcoin? And it's like, well, that's a whole nother conversation, but you can't. It's a system designed to prevent replications of itself, in the same way that the Mona Lisa is a piece of art that's designed to be unique in its design. If you copy the Mona Lisa, you only make a lesser version of the Mona Lisa. In the same way, with Bitcoin, you only make a lesser version. So I guess for the average person wondering, okay, what does this mean for me? Should I buy? What should I buy, or whatever? Basically, my view would be that if we invert this, instead of thinking of everything else declining in relative value against Bitcoin, if we inverse it and realize that Hal Finney was right all the way back in 2009, what we've seen with Bitcoin is its consumption of everything else. It went from 0 cents for years up to 6 cents. It skyrocketed $30, crashed 90% to $2, and skyrocketed and crashed and skyrocketed and crashed. And right now we're in a period where Bitcoin's price denominated in political currency units happens to be down again, in large cause because the value of those political currency units has been inflected upwards as the minister of those currency units, Jerome Powell, has made them more valuable. But basically, what are we looking at here? Well, I would strongly argue that what we're looking at here is a continued expansion of Bitcoin into the future. It'll continue its massive skyrocketing trend. It'll alternate between skyrocketing dramatically and crashing dramatically upwards forever. And it's going to be really hard to time. It's just I would just encourage the average person to get off zero, because if we think of this, again, from a physics perspective, and perhaps you have a closing comment on this. I hope that you're enjoying this video, and I hope that after this video that you begin taking self-custody of your Bitcoin, as that is extremely important. And that also includes keeping very good care of your seed phrase and not just writing it on a piece of paper. So I encourage you to check out this video's sponsor, Stampseed. Say goodbye to storing your seed phrase on paper and electronic devices, right? With Stampseed's DIY toolkit, it's a revolutionary way for you to secure your seed words on a titanium plate, not just a piece of paper. With professional metal stamping tools, you can easily hammer your seed words into a commercial-grade titanium. They've been doing this for they've been doing titanium for 13 years. Now it's fire-resistant up to 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit. It's off paper. It's completely secure for you to keep your seed words on. Again, fire-resistant, crush-proof, non-corrosive, and immune to the passage of time, unlike paper. Each letter is deeply impressed into a solid plate, not just the dots like other competing place. So it's guaranteed to not lose pieces or have varying materials. So secure your hardware wallet with a titanium stamped seed and safeguard your Bitcoin for generations to come. So thanks. Let's get back to the video. I think of Bitcoin as a monetary black hole of the human race. For the entirety of humanity, we have been dealing with planets, and we store wealth in planets and asteroids and stars and, all these things. And, if you throw energy at one, you throw an asteroid at a planet, you destroy the planet and everything like that. And that's why currencies fail. You have an opposing nation apply brute force physical costs in the form of military or economic sanctions, and you try to destroy it. And so we've had this system of these sinking ships and these floating planets. And for the first time ever, we have designed something that is basically a singularity. And we look at it and we don't understand it because it doesn't behave like a planet. It's just this tiny little thing that nobody can see. It's this abstract concept. It doesn't make any sense to us. It's this little dark orb. And we look at it and we think, oh, whatever, that's just a bubble. It's just this thing that doesn't make any sense to me. Nobody understands it. Okay. But the problem that I would challenge the average person listening to is this: is what if that thing actually is a threat? To you? What if Bitcoin is not a get-rich-quick scheme or an opportunity? What if Bitcoin is not a symptom of the increasing speculation of an increasingly corrupted ledger and the symptoms of that? What if Bitcoin is actually the solution and it's doing exactly the opposite of what you would expect the world's lowest risk asset to do? And that's what I would argue. As absurd as that might sound, and perhaps even you disagree with me, but I would argue that Bitcoin's already the lowest risk asset on planet Earth. Because if we assume the future world is coming, and we hope that's coming, the only low risk asset in that world is having a share of the global monetary stock. Mm-hmm. Why would you own a security in a company with cash flows? You have a CEO and scandals and cash flow market. Why would you own planets in a universe where there's a black hole that's expanding infinitely forever? It's like you can try to censor it, you can try to destroy it. China's tried to censor Bitcoin, and every time they censor it, they only make the network stronger. And that's why they've given up on censoring it. No matter how much mass you throw at the black hole, no matter how much attention or negativity you throw at Bitcoin, it just absorbs it and grows greater and greater in a volatile fashion. And so I genuinely believe that Bitcoin's going to absorb all monetary premium of assets and eventually become the global means of storing value for the human race. And this is a good thing. And I believe it's going to save millions of lives and be
it's going to bring in global cooperation. It's going to usher in an age of global cooperation. I completely agree with you, especially at this point in the timeline. Maybe if it was 30 years from now, there may be equity that could outperform or outpace what remains as far as what more monetary energy is going to be pumped into it. But where we're at right now, I'm with you 100%, Luke. Really appreciate your time coming on and all the slides that you put together. That if people were listening to this on audio, I'd highly encourage you to go back and see some of Luke's slides, because he put up some awesome charts for you to contemplate and look at.